All right. Welcome and thank you for joining. My name is Ashley Lusick and I am a health educator for community health at Atlantic Health System. Today's webinar, Chuckles, Chortles, and Giggles, the Benefits of Laughter for Seniors, is presented by Rebecca Abinanti. Before we begin, I have a few announcements. This webinar is being recorded. All participants are muted. If you have a question, please use the Q&A for questions or chat for comments. We will try to get through all questions at the end of this presentation. Are you or a loved one interested in smoking cessation? Atlantic Health System offers a free quit smoking program. This program includes an individual assessment, free nicotine replacement products, and 6 weekly group meetings to help you quit and stay smoke-free. There are multiple dates and times available, with groups available in person or virtually. For more information about these groups and other resources, or for additional dates and times, please call 1-844-472-8499. I am now going to turn it over to Rebecca.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Ashley, and welcome everyone. I hope that we're having a good day today. I'm just going to put my slides up here, so hopefully Ashley will let me know if we can see everything okay. Wonderful. Excellent. Well, as I said to Ashley before when we were testing everything, technology works great when it does. So thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to see all of you. I see your names. I know we don't see each other face to face, but hopefully we can still get some giggles in today. So my name is Rebecca Abinanti, and I coordinate the Healthy Aging program here at Atlantic Health. I am a social worker by background, and I specialize in working with older adults and their families. And I think that one of the reasons that I love this topic so much, besides the fact that it allows me the opportunity to tell some goofy, silly jokes, but I think it also gives us the opportunity to look at some of the lighter side of things, and especially in the last couple of years that we all have been, challenged with the times in which we live and a lot of circumstances, and it gives us the opportunity to look for those different avenues to get a little bit more laughter in our life and why that is helpful to us. So with that, I always like to add, if you have any good jokes, please feel free to put them into the chat. I always give the little disclaimer of if they are clean jokes. Sometimes that I've had some jokes in there that aren't for all audiences. But if you have any clean jokes, please feel free to share them so we can get giggling today. So let's see if I have any that have come in here. Oh, no, that's Ashley saying, please use the Q&A function. Well, hopefully she'll allow me to use the chat for any good jokes. But regardless, I'd like to start off with, you've heard of, the village people, but have you heard of the retirement village people that instead of joining the YMCA, they want to join the AARP? I always tell folks that this is, if you've ever heard me speak before, that this is my my Chuckles, Chortles, and Giggles, also the dad jokes, groans, little talk that we do, because hopefully they might be some little goofy jokes in here that will get them, if nothing else, some giggles and eye rolls here. So let's get giggling, right? I know a bunch of good jokes about umbrellas, but they usually go over people's heads. What do you call someone with no body and no nose? Nobody knows. How many telemarketers does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, but they must do it while you're eating dinner. What do you call a dog that can do magic? A labracadabrador. Why did the scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. What did the ocean say to the sailboat? Nothing, it just waved. And what do you call a lazy kangaroo? A pouch potato. I know some of them are silly and goofy, but there's another little, since we are still technically in winter, right? We have our snowman here. It says, whoa, Carl, you've been working out. And if you are familiar with Dr. Seuss and you haven't seen this book, it's a really wonderful book. It's called You're Only Old Once. It's a book for, in classic Dr. Seuss style, a book for obsolete children that tells the story of a more mature person who is going to the doctor and what that experience is like. So I like this. I think it's a good book to, get us giggling a little bit. All right. So when we talk about some of the benefits of laughter, there's a lot of physical benefits of laughter. When we laugh, we take in more oxygen, and this increased level of oxygen in our blood can help us with circulation, which can potentially help lower our blood pressure and cholesterol levels. Right? We release a lot of really wonderful hormones. Cortisol, for example, can help to decrease pain, potentially inflammation, as well as endorphins, which have proven to reduce the perception of physical pain. Not necessarily that it will reduce pain itself, but it can help reduce our perception of pain. It stimulates our immune system, releases T cells, which is a type of cell that helps to participate in our immune response, which is important, especially as we protect the body. So one of the things that we talk about in these physical benefits is also the component that it's hard to feel that stress when you're laughing, right? When you think about the last time you had a really good laugh, a really good kind of those deep belly chortles that, you know, oftentimes can really help us feel good, even if it's just for those moments, right? And again, another little goofy little joke here. The woman on the couch says, "I think you need a hearing test," to her husband. And he says, "Why the heck do I need a hairy chest?" All right. So in addition to feeling some of the physical hormones that come from laughter, we also know that when you laugh, it workouts our diaphragm and those abdominal muscles. A really good deep belly laugh, you notice that if you feel that in your abdomen, and it works out your diaphragm, which is this really important, especially if you have asthma or bronchitis, that because improve what we call our cough efficacy. Meaning that if we get sick or if we have some type of chronic health issue with our lungs, that ability to cough things up and out can sometimes decrease. So this is really important to exercise those muscles to be able to improve that efficacy of when we cough, to get things up and out. And I like this little fact that 1 minute of laughing burns about the same amount of calories as 5 minutes of walking on a treadmill. I don't know about any of you, but I would much rather laugh than walk on a treadmill for 5 minutes. Same benefit, right? And another goofy little cartoon, the one woman says to the other, "Okay, calm down. That's not whistling, they're wheezing." All right. So the social worker in me would be remiss if I didn't talk about some of the mental health benefits of laughter. Certainly when you're laughing, it helps to relax your entire body, which helps to relieve tension, stress, that muscle tension. You know, many times people feel that tension and stress in their shoulders, and they walk around with their shoulders up around their ears, right? That it's so stressed. If you think about laughing, it just helps to relax all of those muscles. Laughter not only increases our level of dopamine and other stress-busting chemicals and hormones, but these can help naturally decrease anxiety, depression, stress. It's also really hard to feel very stressed out and laugh at the exact same time. That doesn't mean that we won't have stress. It just means that for those moments, it can help alleviate some of that stress. Because having fun on a regular basis is something that is beneficial for all of us, no matter where we are in our stage of life. That it certainly can help enhance our creativity. It helps to potentially avoid memory problems and increase potentially mental sharpness. By laughing, playing and having fun, being creative, engaging that muscle, so to speak, in our brain. We know that laughter also helps to improve the quality of our social relationships, because while laughing alone by ourselves is one thing, laughing with another person and sharing those jokes and sharing those memories can really help support our social relationships. And actually, when we look at some of the studies about laughter and understanding, you know, you've heard that phrase, laughter is the best medicine and all of that, you know, that when we read some of the studies about this, that actually the takeaway is that all of the benefits that we find from laughter, really the social component of it really is probably one of the most effective. Because when we talk about laughter, we have to also talk about how that changes our perception of things and potentially our attitude. You know, we know that, you know, laughter and having a positive attitude alone doesn't help us to cure disease, but feeling more positively, it can certainly help to improve how we feel about things, how we adjust to the changes and the curveballs that life throws to us. Going back to, we were talking about the studies, there was one study out of Norway that said that people who see the humor in life are 35% more likely to live a longer life than those who don't, which is pretty remarkable. The research also tells us that having a positive attitude about aging in particular can help us cope better with some of the changes that naturally do come along with the aging process. And so for that, I give you the senility prayer. You've probably heard of the serenity prayer. Well, this is the senility prayer. Grant me the senility to forget the people I never liked anyway, the good fortune to run into the ones that I do, and the eyesight to tell the difference. I know, goofy jokes. Another little goofy little poem here for you. It says, my face in the mirror isn't wrinkled or drawn. My house isn't dirty and the cobwebs are gone. My garden looks lovely and so does my lawn. I think I might never put my glasses back on. All right. So how do we find more opportunities to bring laughter into our life, right? It takes sort of a little bit of conscious effort, to be able to find these moments. So these are some different ways that you might be able to look for more opportunities for laughter. Asking a friend if anything has been funny that's happened in their life. If you have a friend that is naturally funny, I think we all can think of someone in our life who just makes us laugh, who's a very funny person. And sometimes taking the time to engage with that person when and how we can to be able to have those lighthearted moments. If you get the newspaper, read the funnies. Check out your bookstore for a humor section, or if you get books on your Kindle, there's lots of different comedy books and things that you can look as well. There's a joke a day website. You can get a daily joke of the day emailed to you, or get a funny calendar, something that gives you something to kind of giggle about every day. If you have a certain comedian or someone that is funny to you, an author, if anybody thinks of their favorite comedian, what are those opportunities to watch that show or listen to that, book or whatever it might be that we're doing. If you have kids or pets in your life, kids and pets are generally, they find the lighthearted moments a little bit easier than we as adults do. So if you have time to spend time with little kids will, giggle about anything, right? They find the funny in everything. And, pets in particular can be very funny, especially dogs. They're just kind of goofy by nature. And if anything else, you can kind of have the opportunity to kind of giggle at their antics a little bit. All right, so I have some more terrible little one-liners here for you. What did the traffic light say to the car? Don't look, I'm about to change. What's Forrest Gump's password? 1 Forrest 1. Did you hear about the 2 people who stole a calendar? They each got 6 months. I know it's terrible. Hopefully you're laughing along with me a little bit here. All right, so finding the funny. So one of the ways that we can do this, in addition to looking for those people in our life and those comedians and all of those opportunities, is also looking at the ways that we can examine our day-to-day to really think about the opportunities for laughter. So we all know that there are plenty of times that are hard in life. But we can train ourselves to try to look for the silver lining. Look for the funny in a bad situation, try to look at the irony and absurdity. When something negative happens, try to find something funny that could potentially make yourself, make others laugh. It doesn't detract from the opportunities for us to acknowledge that things can be challenging, but it gives us an outlet in order to address that, right? What are some funny things that have happened in your life, right? If something amusing happens, or if you hear a joke or a funny story that you like, write it down and share it, right? Some of the best times is just recounting that and sharing that laugh with others. And finding the opportunity to try not to dwell on the negative. We as human beings are very good at finding the negative in life. Oftentimes that we could list 10 things very easily that we don't like, or they're difficult, or we're having a hard time with, and things that are upsetting to us. Many times people can list those things very easily. But if you ask them to, for example, sometimes I'll talk to my patients about, what's going right. And they could very easily tell me 100 things that are going wrong. But sometimes it's harder to kind of tease out what is going right, right? And that takes a little bit of a shift in our brain. It takes some effort to change that internal dialogue a little bit to try to find the opportunities to find the positive. You know, we all know people who love the negative and live in it and enjoy the negative parts of things. You know, maybe we try to avoid or limit the amount of time that we spend with that person. You know, the news is great, but I always tell people, don't listen to the news a lot. You know, get a little bit of an update. But if we sit and we're watching the news all day long, if you watch the news, you are convinced that the world is terrible and awful and everything is just absolutely horrible. And we know that's not the case. We know there's really wonderful things that are happening in the world, but the news doesn't always report on those stories. So limit our exposure to the news, you know, to things that are entertaining or, you know, that are the conversations that make us happy. Try to find those rather than the things that make us struggle. You know, we know that lots of things in life are beyond our control. And, you know, most in particular, when we look at the things that are outside of the realm of our control, a lot of it is the behavior of other people. So we can't control what other people do. We can only control how we react to it. And so this is where we talk about the opportunity to try to find the positive when and how we can, right? Okay. As I said before, we could also look to find our inner child, right? Kids are oftentimes, they are experts on playing, they take life lightly, and they laugh at the silliest, most ordinary things. And find those opportunities in your day. If you are stressed, if you are feeling overwhelmed, being stressed is a huge impediment to finding the funny, right? If we're feeling overwhelmed, we're feeling stressed, we're looking for opportunities to decrease that stress. If we're stressed in the moment, try to think about something that always makes you smile, a happy memory, something that's funny, something that's comical, something that brings you joy, right, in those moments. Looking for those outlets for stress. You know, if we need a little bit of help, if we need to talk with a therapist or someone to help us manage our stress, that can be really helpful to help us be able to balance our life a little bit better. And just like exercise, laughing takes practice, you know, finding these opportunities. You know, think of it as something like breakfast or our daily exercise, our daily walk, something that we do every single day to try to find something funny. Set aside 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is that's amusing to you. And the more we get used to doing this, the less effort that we have to make because it becomes a habit. It becomes part of our routine and our day-to-day to be able to help us deal with the more challenging things that do come along with life. All right, so I have some more giggles for you. My parents didn't want to move to Florida, but they turned 60 and that's the law, according to Jerry Seinfeld. When you're 20 and you drop something, you pick it up. When you're 80 and you drop something, you decide you don't need it anymore. Bifocals are the optometrist's way of saying, keep your chin up. A fire hydrant has H2O on the inside and K9P on the outside. I know some of these are terrible. I woke up this morning and forgot which side the sun rises on, and then it dawned on me. Terrible. All right, so hopefully I've gotten you at least kind of giggling or maybe groaning a little bit. I do see that there is someone that came in with a Q&A that had some good jokes, so I'll share these with you because I think it's helpful to keep us laughing. So someone said some of their favorites are, what's a ghost's favorite drink? Booze. How much does a ghost drink? Drinks until he's 3 sheets to the wind. Why does it take 4 million sperm to fertilize 1 egg? Because none of them stop to ask for directions. How can you tell a male chromosome from a female chromosome? Pull down its genes. Oh my goodness. Well, those are very funny. Thank you for sharing some of those. I appreciate that. So with that, we also go through and we talk about other opportunities. One opportunity is what we call laughter yoga. I don't know if anybody has heard about this. We could also call it the more originally Hasya yoga. And this is where we blend the benefits of yoga and laughter together, because there are some already common benefits. It helps to decrease our blood pressure, potentially cholesterol, decreases anxiety, maybe decreases our stress, improves symptoms of depression. One of the things that we talk about in this context of, looking how to balance yoga and laughter together, many times I have some of my patients that will say to me, you know what, I don't know that I can do yoga, right? And I always tell folks that, yoga doesn't have to mean you're down on the floor turning yourself into a pretzel, right? It could mean that we are doing things from a seated position. And this is a great variation on traditional yoga to really kind of balance some of the challenges for people who may have some mobility changes, but this is a really nice opportunity to blend those benefits of laughter and yoga together. So Hasya yoga, laughter yoga, it combines prolonged voluntary laughter with light stretching. So what does voluntary laughter means? It means essentially that if you are sitting here, and hopefully you'll do this with me while you're sitting there, but if I asked you to just laugh, right? We go, ha, 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 right? We start to laugh, we force ourselves to laugh a little bit, right? That one of the things that can be helpful is if we're doing this, is that kind of doing that forced laughter, we're mimicking the same motions that we would if we were laughing for real, right? And because we're doing that our body can't tell the difference whether we're laughing because we're laughing and someone or something made us laugh, or we're voluntarily laughing, we're kind of faking it. Our body doesn't know the difference. So we get the benefits of it either way. So laughter yoga is based on the belief that voluntary laughter has the same benefits as spontaneous laughter because we can't tell the difference. So by doing seated stretching and movement and these, sort of voluntary laugh exercises, which honestly, if you've ever been part of a class that has done this, there are laughter yoga classes around. I believe that maybe last fall, and Ashley probably can correct me, that we did one of these through Atlantic, that I think one of the opportunities is that when you're in a room or you're virtually in a space with other people, that, you're hearing people do this voluntary laughter, it kind of sounds funny. So everybody starts to laugh for real. So oftentimes that's one of the benefits, laughter is contagious and happiness can be contagious in those settings. So, this can be a great avenue to combine the stretching, the movement, and the activity with all of the benefits of laughter as well. If you're not interested in a class, there's, guided tutorials for this online. You can find many laughter yoga videos on things like YouTube. And, sometimes the libraries have them, the Y may have it. So it is around and it's growing in popularity because it just is a really wonderful, wonderful opportunity to get both benefits. All right. So I like to leave you with one of my very, kind of funny little stories from George Carlin. And for those of you who know George Carlin, you know that not all of his stuff is clean, but this is, right? And so this is one of his little vignettes, so to speak, on aging. Do you realize that the only time in our lives when we like to get old is when we're kids? If you're less than 10 years old, you're so excited about aging that you think in fractions. How old are you? I'm 4.5. You're 4.5 going on 5. You get into your teens and you simply jump to the next number. How old are you? I'm gonna be 16. You could be 12, but you're gonna be 16 eventually. Then the great day arrives and you become 21. Even the words sound like a ceremony. You become 21. And then you turn 30. What happened there? Makes you sound like bad milk. He turned, we had to throw him out. What's wrong? What's changed? You become 21, you turn 30, you're pushing 40, you reach 50, and then you make it to 60. By then you've built up so much speed, you hit 70. After that, it's a day-by-day thing. You hit Wednesday. You get to your 80s, you hit lunch, you hit 4:30, and it doesn't end there. Into the 90s, you start going backwards. I was just 92. And then a strange thing happens. If you make it over 100, you become a little kid again. I'm 100.5. All right. So I leave you with one of my favorite quotes here that for those of you who know who Satchel Paige was, that, leaves with one of his best quotes was, how old would you be if you didn't know how old you are? And I think that when we talk about this is that some days that number feels higher, feels lower, whatever it might be. But I challenge you to find the opportunities, to find the laughter in our life, to find those moments, because it really can help us in so many ways and cope with the days that are challenging and some of the opportunities that do come along as we age and some of the challenges that come along with that. So with that, I'm going to give you my little 2-second little elevator speech about who I am, if I can ever be a resource for you. I see some familiar names, but for those of you who we haven't met before, I run the Healthy Aging program here at Atlantic Health. I am closely affiliated with Morristown Medical Center, but I cover our system footprint. The Healthy Aging program is at its core, at its heart, is a hotline and a resource for information for people to ask questions about resources and services available for older adults and their families. So if you call or email our hotline, you get me. I'm the hotline. So now we've met. You're not calling some random place and you don't know who you're reaching to. When I happen to be out of the office, one of my colleagues who works in our geriatric assessment center also is here. We are all geriatric social workers, so we have the expertise to help guide you about what some resources may be. I always tell people that I never say I've gotten it all, but I've gotten a lot over the years, and I'm happy to help answer any questions that you may have. But I often say the most common question that I get is, I don't know where to start. And we talk about what the situation is and being able to offer some guidance and direction. I am also based, as I said, closely affiliated with Morristown Medical Center, and I'm based in our outpatient geriatric assessment center, which is an outpatient medical office where we provide both assessments as well as primary care for people mostly over 65. We are fortunate to have gathered a team of geriatricians who are primary care physicians specialized in caring for people over 65. And our team works together to provide care for folks. And we're located in Morristown at 435 South Street. If you happen to be looking for a geriatric doctor, this is a nice resource for you. And with that, this is my contact information. If there are any questions, I just want to look at some of the questions here. Someone was asking if a laughter class is coming up. I don't know if there is, Ashley. I don't know that we have something planned right now, but I know we've done it.
We have done it. I'm wondering if this is something that's usually available in the fall based on the instructor being available. So I will look into that and hopefully get an answer, but I'm assuming the fall would be the next time it would be offered.
Yeah, great. Do we have any other questions or any other good jokes for people to share? Well, hopefully you got some good giggles this morning. I always say this is, as I was telling to Ashley before, this is always my dad jokes kind of talk that we get a little bit of the goofy laughter. So hopefully you got some giggles in and found the opportunity to have some laughter in today. So we have today covered. So if you find those opportunities in the days to come.
Right. I'm not seeing any new questions, but personally, I'd like to ask, I know we talked about some listed suggestions that you had for looking for where to find laughter in everyday life. What if some of those suggestions didn't apply? Would you have any further recommendations, or is that something that you would recommend someone reach out to you to discuss?
So I think that when people are looking at different opportunities, you know, oftentimes I know, especially the past couple of years, there's been a little bit of a moving target into where the social opportunities lie. You know, certainly I know we do a lot of programs with our community health department team, you know, but there's lots of, you know, check out your local senior center, check out, you know, your local libraries and see what offerings are available there. You know, there's been a lot of places that are offering a hybrid of either in-person and virtual programming. There's lots of resources out there. If you haven't been out as much, I encourage you to consider those options. You know, that there are, you know, resources in order to engage. And I, you know, certainly if you have anything specific or, you know, can always reach out to me. I'm happy to help guide you as best I can. And I do see a couple of other jokes coming in, which I think is great. Someone said, why do birds fly to Florida? It's too far to walk. I like that. That's cute. And someone said, oh, that what starts with an F and ends with uck, a fire truck, right? And someone said, why did the turkey cross the road? To prove he wasn't a chicken. I like it. We got some good jokes going here.
Those were some good ones. I really like that last one.
Yes.
All right, I'll give it another minute here just to see. Oh, we got another one.
What time does Donald Duck wake up? The quack of dawn. These are great. These are great. Wonderful.
You have some new ones to add to the presentation now.
Exactly. You guys are giving me great material. I love it.
All right. Well, I'm not seeing any new questions come in. So I think that is what we have for today. Thank you for joining us. We kindly ask that you take a few minutes after today's webinar to complete the program survey. The link to the survey has been added to the chat for your convenience. A special thank you to Rebecca for dedicating your time and expertise today. If you have any additional questions or comments, you can send an email to communityhealth@atlantichealth.org or by calling 1-844-472-8499. That concludes our webinar today, and have a great day, everyone.
Take care. Bye, everyone.